Hello friends, welcome to the lecture on miscellaneous commands in Perl. Today we are going to see a host of miscellaneous commands that I've listed here. Let us get started. So we have seen how @argv works. So @argv is nothing but an array or an inbuilt array which has all those data that is given by the user right at the execution time. So let's say whenever we want to execute a particular Perl script and we are providing data right at the command line level. So all these data would be available in the @argv array. Now let us understand what exactly we mean by dollar exclamation and dollar question mark. So dollar question mark gives you the error code of the previously executed statement. So let's say I have executed this particular statement. Now I would say print dollar question mark. We'll see what exactly we get. Error code, I would say. Now let's go ahead and execute this piece of code. So now you can see as the previous command, that is $0 was executed successfully, error code was 0. Similarly, in case you want to print the error, so you can simply say error and that would be dollar exclamation. So this gives you the error that gets generated in case it has run into failures. So now in this particular case, as my error code was 0, so it was a success and hence error code is blank. In case you try to open a file when the file does not exist and you have specified dollar exclamation, so it will give you an error that is generated by the operating system. Okay, let's move on to the next command. Next command is dollar dot. We have already seen when we opened a file, you can get the page numbers using dollar dot. Next comes $0. This is nothing but the base name or the file name. So as we have executed this particular piece of code, you can see file name was Perl Miscellaneous. So this was nothing but using the $0 sign. Okay. Now comes the process ID. So in case you want to get the process ID of the current running process, you can simply use double dollar sign and it will give you the process ID. Now there are a couple of arrays and hashes that are available. These are inbuilt arrays. So basically at the rate inc, this particular array has all the desired paths where a particular module when called using the require keyword would be actually searched. So this is nothing but a list of directories. So we can simply go ahead and print, let's say print, I would say inc details, and we'll see what exactly we get. So I'll simply write @inc. Now let us go ahead and execute this particular piece of code. Now you can see any module that will be called using require, you will be searched in these two particular locations. So hash, the %inc is nothing but the key and a value pair. So this is just a way of storing the data that is present in @inc. It will have the directory as a key and corresponding value that is associated with the key. So if you read this particular statement, the built-in associative array lists the file that are requested by the required function that have already been found. So that is how %inc works. Now comes %env. This is nothing but the environment variables that are available. You can always get this using or just trying to dereference few of the environment inbuilt environment variables. These are three most important commands, that is system, exec and backticks. These are used to actually execute a particular operating system command. So let's say in Linux, if I want to get the list of the files that are available in a directory, you can simply do that using the ls-l command, and this ls-l command would actually be written in either the backticks, that is this, exec, or using the system. Now we'll understand what exactly are the differences between this system command, exec command and backticks when they all do a pretty much similar job. So while we execute any command using the system keyword, it actually executes that command, but the output is directly thrown onto the std out terminal. When we execute the same command using the backticks, you can actually capture that particular output. Now, what does exec do? Exec also will execute this particular command, but what will happen is it will terminate the calling program. So now let us understand. Let's say I want to actually get the list of directories. Okay, so I would simply say system and dir. Okay, now let's say I get all this particular data in @d, that is equal to system dir. Now let us see what exactly happens here. We'll also say print details as @d. Now let's go ahead and execute this piece of code. So if you can see details, this particular statement where we had actually tried to capture the output of system dir. So it has gone ahead and printed all the files that were available in the in the current dir. So that is at current location we are in Perl underscore example. So when we ran the system command using the dir keyword, what it does is it has gone ahead and given list of all the directories that were present, or that all the details of that particular directory that were present inside the current working directory. But we had tried to assign this particular output to @d, but you had clearly seen in this particular case in details you couldn't find anything. So that is the reason you can actually not capture the output from the system command. You can again go ahead and do that using the exec command too, but we'll see what exactly will happen once we execute this particular piece of code. So now you see it has executed the dir statement, and now it has not written, it has not printed basically, or it has not executed the statement details. Why? Because it has finished its execution and it will never come back to the calling program. So that is the reason exec is not really widely used. You should use exec only when you are pretty sure what is the functionality or how you want your program to behave. Now comes the backticks. So backticks is pretty much the similar command which is or which is a similar syntax where you can actually go ahead and execute any of the operating system level commands, but in this particular case what will happen is you can actually capture the output. Let us see what exactly I mean by that. Okay, so here if I actually go ahead and uh, use the backtick operators and see what exactly I mean by this. So now if we go ahead and execute it, okay, oops. So I've just forgot to put a semicolon. Now if we go ahead and execute it, you can see we were successfully able to execute this, but because of this exec statement, it was actually not completing. So now I think it should actually complete, and you can see even this particular @d was executed. So here if you see the detail section, we have got all the details. So @d we have populated it using the dir command, and using the dir command in backticks we have got all the data in @d, and we have just seen if we go ahead and print that particular data we were able to get the values that were stored in @d. So we'll quickly go through again what we have done here. System, it will just go ahead execute a system command, but we will not be able to capture the output. It will throw the output right away on the screen. Exec will execute the particular command, but it will not return the prompt to the program that it is calling, that is actually calling the exec command. So the control is lost and your Perl script, you'll be coming out of your Perl script execution. Backticks, using backticks you can actually capture the output and play around with the output of that particular command. So these are the basic miscellaneous commands that we have discussed. Do keep in mind you will require them now and again whenever you are working with Perl. So thank you friends. We come to the end of this particular lecture. I'll see you guys at the next lecture.